Good morning, you're listening to Instant Breakfast, New Brunswick. It is Thursday, September 13th, 2018. I'm your host, John Heinstein. This is episode 42. So, I've been reading a really interesting book lately called The Renegade History of the United States by a guy named Thaddeus Russell. I don't know if I agree with the entirety of the argument, but he tries to make the case that people in the margins, like delinquents, criminals, prostitutes, drunkards, the people that proper people like to look down on, all manners of undesirables, these people have actually done more for civil rights and personal freedoms than anyone from proper society. I mean, even though our history books are full of great people doing great things and ushering in the changes that we take for granted, those really aren't the people who do those sorts of things. I mean, they are invested in society. They don't want society to change. So it's the people in the margins, the argument is, in this book, who push things in a different direction. I mean, it makes a lot of sense if you think about, like popular music, for instance. All the popular music that we listen to today can be traced back to the blues. And the blues, of course, comes not from the center of society, it comes from the margins of society. It comes from the musical traditions of African slaves. And I mean, how more marginalized can you be? And that was the birthplace of all of the music that we really listen to today in popular society. So, yeah, the book is really interesting. It brings all kinds of history that I had not really, maybe I had understood but not really thought about the consequences of it. So he talks about how the Puritans, I mean, they're known for being, moralists, emphasizing hard work and God. And he talks about this like concerted campaign by the Puritans to eliminate popular music and dancing. So they wanted you to do nothing but work hard and observe God. If you were going to listen to music, then it had to be religious music, something that put you in tune with the higher powers. And if you were going to dance, then it wasn't the sort of dance where you gyrated your body in any way, and especially you weren't allowed to touch anybody. And not just music, and it's not just dancing and touching people. Alcohol is another great instance of that, and we see movements like Prohibition that were driven by this Puritan observance of the supposed morals in the Bible. But on the margins of society, people were still drinking. I mean, you had things like speakeasies that had jazz and booze and sex and racial integration and all of those things that we think of today as an essential part of our freedoms. So it's a really interesting argument, a really interesting book, and it got me thinking about some of the musical traditions in New Brunswick, which are, we do have our religious traditions, but most of the things that we think of as traditional music in New Brunswick are things like fiddling. Fiddling in particular, I mean, we think of that as the cornerstone of popular music in New Brunswick and really in the entire Atlantic provinces. How intimately connected that was to dancing and drinking and socializing, and we've passed those things on from generation to generation, regardless of what the church elders might have told us. Maybe it's a long tangent, but it brought me back when I was thinking about preparing the song list today to traditional fiddling in New Brunswick, and we have essentially two traditions, the English tradition and the Acadian French tradition. So I thought, in honor of these traditions that have happened sometimes on the margins and have brought us so much entertainment, and according to this book by Thaddeus Russell, also ushered in an age of civil rights. Let's start out with Don Messer. And Don Messer is a famous fiddler from New Brunswick. He spent most of his time in other parts of Canada and in the States, but he was born in Tweedside, New Brunswick. I got to thinking about Don Messer the other week because another famous fiddler from New Brunswick, Ned Landry, passed away, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. And Don Messer was one of his icons. In fact, Ned Landry got his start on Don Messer's radio show, there's the importance of radio in our musical traditions also, which we hope to carry on at CHSR. But anyway, Ned Landry passed on a couple of weeks ago, and Don Messer was one of his idols, and in fact he was an incredibly important figure in Canadian musical history. He had this long-standing show that went on for many years. It was called Don Messer's Jubilee. 10 years, from 1959 to 1969. So it was Don Messer with his kind of down east fiddle style, and he had a backup band with him, Don Messer and his Islanders. And it was one of the most enduring Canadian television programs of that time. And in fact, it, in Canada at least, drew higher ratings than the Ed Sullivan Show. And throughout the mid-'60s, the only show that was more popular than that was Hockey Night in Canada. So there you go. That tells you how popular it is. The only thing that Canadians were not going to give up for Don Messer's Jubilee was Hockey Night in Canada. Ooh, well, I hear a fire alarm going off, so I think I'm going to have to put some music on and come back. Okay. Let's do this. Let's jump ahead in our set then. We're going to play. All right. Let's play a live set by a band called FireRescue. They just put out an EP earlier this week. I'm going to start with a show called Live at the Capitol, and when the fire alarm is off, we will reconvene. So FireRescue out of Moncton, a song called The Wheel. 7 tunes on this list. Hopefully I'll get back in time to play some more from our intended set list. So have a good day if I don't see you again. Here we are, FireRescue, live at the Capitol.
promised to break as if I didn't know that. Oh well, hand that you shake, a smile you fake, I didn't need that. Meet your maker, giver, taker. See her eyes so brown, brown as the soil that lay beneath the ground, brown as the hair that falls below the cloud. Meet your
All right, back from the fire drill. So that was FireRescue from an album Live at the Capitol. I guess we made it through 3 songs while I was standing outside the building. They just came out with an EP. Well, there's a bit of a story behind that. They announced an EP called Memories from Your Childhood earlier this week, and I'm like, all right, let's check that out. They only had made 1 song available called Meet Your Maker. That was the second song that you would have heard there. It's a really great indie rock tune, so I got all prepared to play that on the show this week. And I checked this morning and I saw that they had taken down the EP. So I don't know why. Maybe they're doing some fine tuning like Kanye West was with his Life of Pablo album. I think he called it something like a living, breathing expression of his creativity. So he kept re-uploading versions of it after its initial release. I don't know if that's the case here. Probably they're doing a little bit of tweaking, and we'll be posting it later. But anyway, what they did have on the Bandcamp site was this Live at the Capitol show with most of the songs from the album on it. And as you just heard, it's going to be a great album, and it was a great live show. It would have been a good thing to be there for. It's a bunch of guys from Moncton, Matt Gillis, Eric Babineau, Mario Gautreau, Pascal Reisch. These are all guys who have been in other bands, and if we have some time later, we'll listen to some of those bands. So Olive Green, Morse Code Alphabet, Something Delicious. Those are some of the bands. So I was, after this song, going to jump right to those, but due to the nature of our situation this morning, we didn't get to play what I intended to start the show off with, which was Don Messer. We were talking about Don Messer's Jubilee show and how it had ranked in the top 10 nationally throughout its long run. It drew higher ratings in Canada than the Ed Sullivan show. It was second only to Hockey Night in Canada in its ratings. And so he influenced a lot of musicians. He, brought a lot of musicians in Canada and in New Brunswick to the attention of the public. Really great National Film Board feature called Don Messer, His Land and Music. Came out in 1971. Anyway, Don Messer, recognized for his contributions to music. He's Canadian Country Music Association Hall of Honor in 1985, and in 1989 was inducted into the Canadian Country Music Hall of Fame. So I thought we would play a song off one of his albums, which is actually a collection of songs from his TV show. The album's called Don Messer's Jubilee, Down East Dance Music by Canada's Top TV Personality. That's a lot to chew off. But he's got a well-known song of his called The Veterans Reel. So I thought that we would kind of start the show with that. So here we go. Don Messer from his Don Messer's Jubilee album, The Veterans Reel. was Don Messer with the tune Veterans Reel. That was only, of course, one half of traditional fiddle music in New Brunswick. So the other half would be, of course, Acadian fiddle music. It's got its own distinct nature, and of course there's that give and take between Louisiana and other parts of North America where Acadians were expelled. So we're going to listen to a guy named Hert Leblanc next. He's a really well-known Acadian country musician who's heavily influenced by the Cajun music from Louisiana. He's been around for over 30 years. He's got 8 albums. It's like really great old-time music, stellar musicianship. We got some wicked fiddle playing and other traditional musics throughout. He was born in Bouctouche. We're going to play something off of his album Roi de Gros Tyme, King of Good Times, Sur la Ligne à Harde. So here we go, Hert Leblanc.
Comme ailleurs en Acadie, on en a parlé. De place en place, dialectes différents. À Bouctouche, de mon petit coin, on peut se comparer. Tout le monde parle pas pareil, ben on se comprend. À l'école, on me disait que je parlais pas bien. Mais la Sagouine et Frank Maillet parlaient comme moi. C'était mêlant partout ce monde-là était sur TV. I mean, come on, c'était quand même Radio-Canada. On dit que je parle chiac, touché, je parle pas chinois. Je vais te compter de petits mots, pis dis-moi quoi si tu comprends pas. J'suis ben bro, j'ai manqué guess, pis mon corps je tape pas. Pis t'as pas le choix de parler, mais tu l'as sur la ligne à Harde. Moi je trouve c'est ça de la langue pour rien. C'est comme ça qu'on parle chez nous, pis c'est pas parfait. Mais moi je suis pas français, je suis acadien. On me dit que je parle chiac, touché, je parle pas chinois. Je veux te compter de petits mots, pis dis-moi quoi si tu comprends pas. Je suis ben broke, j'ai manqué de guerre, pis mon corps ne stoppe pas. Pis t'as pas le choix de parler, mais tu l'as sur la ligne à Harde. Pis t'as pas le choix de parler, mais tu l'as sur la ligne à Harde.
All right, that was Hert Leblanc from his album Roi de Gros Tyme, song Sur la Ligne à Harde. I mentioned earlier that some of the guys in FireRescue, we heard a couple of tunes off their Live of the Capital album earlier, also play in some other bands that are from New Brunswick or have played. So we're going to listen to a couple of other bands that are related to the guys from FireRescue. So first one of those is Morse Code Alphabet. They're from Moncton, and in 2017 they put out an album called Go On, and they call it instrumental math rock, which is kind of, it is definitely prog rock, but prog rock of the sort that like King Crimson would play, or maybe Steve Albini. So it's very abstract music in a sense. It's got really odd time signatures, melodies are atypical. There's a lot of maybe dissonance and polyrhythms, and you'll have these huge breaks in mood throughout a song. Songs tend to be a little bit longer. They're definitely not pop tunes. There are no lyrics. It's all about the instrumentality of the players. So two of the guys from FireRescue are in Morse Code Alphabet. There's Eric Babineau, the guitar player from FireRescue, and Mario Gautreau, the bass player. In addition, we've got another well-known Moncton musician, Joe Nahashe, who people know for his involvement in just about everything that's going on in Moncton. He's, and a very creative, innovative player. He's playing the keys on this. We've also got Gabriel Alain on the guitar and Marc Landry on drums. He also did the production and the mixing on this. So, let's just jump right into this. Just a wicked musicianship the whole way through. This song that we're going to listen to is called This Episode Was Recorded Before a Live Studio Audience. So here we go with Morse Code Alphabet on their album Go On. some weird and wacky tunes from Morse Code Alphabet. A little bit of math rock from their album Go On. A tune called This Episode was recorded before a live studio audience. So you're listening to CHSR 97.9 FM. I'm your host, John Heinstein. It's Instant Breakfast NB, bringing you the sounds of New Brunswick. We are going to continue with another band that is based on members from FireRescue. This is another one that I wasn't aware of. We got to go back all the way to 2009 for this band, Something Delicious. Again, out of Moncton. And one of the members of that band is Mario Gautreau, who is also in Morse Code Alphabet and FireRescue. We also have Jonah Hashe in this one too, bringing us some vocals and guitar. I don't know of Jonah as a guitar player, but apparently that is yet another one of the instruments that he has mastered and done some strange things with, because this is definitely a band that, they bill themselves as an awkward breath of fresh air conditioner. There's a bunch of rambling, mostly nonsensical description on the Facebook page. It definitely sets up an expectation about what kind of music is to come. So here's a little snippet. Once upon a time, millions of years ago, on the planet Zargonia, there stood one Zargonian octopus. He ventured on the plasma of dementia. Suddenly, a large phenocteur named Jash, nor the penguin, began to spit remnants of his own feces in a basketball net, which led to a friendly game of epic proportions. Forever! The game never ceased to exist. Forever! It goes on and on. That's just a very small piece of the long diatribe about the chronicled history of the band Something Delicious. But the music, that is another story altogether. I mean, they are definitely a very experimental band, and they draw from all sorts of different influences. So this tune in particular starts kind of at that tongue-in-cheek, jokey rock sort of music, not unlike Satan in Love. So it sets you up with that kind of expectation, but then it switches very quickly to heavy metal, and then we've got some mellow jazz interludes and some stuff that sounds like a jam band live, and then little bursts of punk energy punctuating the entire thing, and some weird timings, and then really uncharacteristic instruments in there, like the trumpet, who I'm thinking that probably... No, I guess Jonah is not playing that. They have another trumpet player named Pat. But yeah, just a really weird juxtaposition of sounds. Really tickles my ear in a weird way. So, and I think it'll do that to you too. So let's listen to Something Delicious off their album No Fun Intended, a song appropriately titled Awkward Comfort.
When you say so, I don't wanna be, I will not go. I don't wanna be cautioned to the itchy, uncomfortable road outside my group. The itchy, uncomfortable road outside my place to get rid of the awkward place to get rid of all the crap I do not own my friends.
That was Something Delicious off their album No Fun Intended, with a song called Awkward Comfort. Do you agree with me that was a weird and wild and wonderful, wacky experience? I think you do. Okay, here's something that I stumbled upon in my internet meanderings. It was a compilation CD that came out all the way back in 2002. It's called Freddy's Rock Pile Presents Horseshoes and Hand Grenades. I remember Peter Hicks of Sleepy Driver talking about this because he had a band at the time called Queen Cab, and I think the song selection for that particular compilation was the end of the band, but you know band dynamics. But there's all kinds of great old Fredericton bands on here, like Dionysus, Grand Theft Bus, Danny Main Street Band, Old Window, Since August, Slide, El Diablo, Missing, Shade, Moment of Inertia, 283, Given Stone, Das Radio, Fat Jeebus, Morahambi, and Pimp T. I mean, these are, if you've been around the Fredericton music scene for a while, you would have definitely heard and possibly even seen an awful lot of these bands. So I thought I'd get a couple of bands off of this compilation. I wasn't able to locate the actual tunes on the compilation, so I opted instead for playing songs from the bands that I could find. So one of those bands is Das Radio, and they had an album out in 2002 called Ever Since I Broke My Head. It's a band that was started by someone that, if you're in the Fredericton music scene, you would definitely recognize, Patrick Reinhardt, who goes now under the name The Trick. And it is not unlike his Trick stuff, so it's got that 80s synth pop rock kind of feel, very heavy on the analog synths, but again, lots of guitar and bass and acoustic drums rather than electronic drums in this case. They started out with an EP called Peter's Koala Adventure, but we're going to play something off of their full-length album, Ever Since I Broke My Head. Little piece of trivia, that was recorded by Ethan Young-Lai, who is the guitarist for Sleepy Driver, who's also produced all of our albums. So let's listen to a tune by Das Radio called Every Soul I Know Is Sold.
Have a bowl of formula? Yes, sir. No? Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to get this formula together. Only one month supply to get Okay. What's that? Yes, I just on the phone. Sure.
Under the snow
All right, that was DOS Radio from the album Ever Since I Broke My Head, Every Soul I Know Is Sold. I'm not sure whether we have time for one or two more songs, but our next song is going to be another band that was off that Horseshoes and Hand Grenades compilation. I hadn't thought about this person for a long time. Pimp T, P-I-M-P-T-E-A. It's actually an acronym, and the acronym spells out positively influencing more people to excel artistically. And he is a hip-hop artist, a very unique hip-hop artist. It's real tongue-in-cheek rap. It's kind of over the top and ridiculous, but it's pretty darn entertaining. He actually won a 2005 ECMA award for Urban Single of the Year, and he charted in over 35 radio stations. His real name is Troy Nielsen. He's from Charter Settlement. He got tons of video play on Much Music, which back in the heyday of Much Music was a really big deal. I mean, that's where a lot of people got their music and got their sort of visual representations of musicians. He was all over the charts. He was all over the television. The concept for this video, and we're going to play a song off his album, An Herbal Remedy, called Shake Ya Caboose, which was the one that won that ECMA award and the one that was probably the most recognizable. It's got a kind of crazy little video that's very much a sign of the times. He says that the concept for this video is, I'm an aspiring rapper who runs a cleaning company. I get called in to clean a mansion and pretend I'm a pimp. I fall asleep and I dream of being a famous rapper. The owner returns and the French maids wake me up. Drama ensues. How will it ever end? It's got a performance on this tune from the Fredericton hip-hop artist Monarch, among a bunch of other hip-hop artists in the area. Anyway, let's play this and see whether we have time for one more. Pimp T, An Herbal Remedy, Shake Ya Caboose.
Shake ya caboose, shake ya caboose, get juice, get goose, let loose and just shake ya caboose. Shake ya caboose, shake ya caboose, get juice, get goose, let loose and just shake ya caboose. Shake ya caboose, shake ya caboose, get juice, get goose, let loose and just shake ya caboose. Shake ya caboose, shake ya caboose, get juice, get goose, let loose and just shake ya caboose. Ladies, I ain't got no Mercedes, but feel free to watch me shake my babies. Wiggle and squirm, making you learn, each one in turn, how to do the booty shake. This ain't no drill, cause this just ain't fake. This here's the real. Just ain't no debate over who's delicious, the bootylicious, the non-fictitious, the mister. It's a pleasure, missus, and for all the French ladies who don't rank babies, who don't say what on the all to the small. It started in May, and my birthday party. Are they really taking a chance to watch me dance? Shake it around, making your giggles weird around my pants. Ha ha! Even making the guys take a second glance. Shake ya caboose, shake ya caboose, get juice, get goose, let loose and just shake ya caboose. Shake ya caboose, shake ya caboose, get juice, get goose, let loose and just shake ya caboose. Shake ya caboose, shake ya caboose, get juice, get goose, let loose and just shake ya caboose. Shake ya caboose, shake ya caboose, get juice, get goose, let loose and just shake ya caboose. Always free to move your body like me, and at a party based on the artillery, grasping the literary form of vocabulary spoken by the beat and rising the heat. Like a fort, I got focus, put instruction like a locust at DES to Troy, then you can guess my ploy. The way you looked at me made me feel so sexy. I was on the dance floor shaking my big caboose, all up in your face like you done hit a moose with my caboose. Yeah, with my caboose. If you get a big caboose, then shake it. Shake it if you want to let loose, then shake it. Shake it if you get a big caboose, then shake it. Shake it if you want to let loose, then shake it. Shake it. Your beauty's more pronounced than crystal blue skies, even more compelling, crisp, captivating eyes. What drew you to me was that my booty almost made your whole boat capsize. The whole shake ya caboose, get juice, get goose, let loose and just shake ya caboose. Shake Shake ya caboose, shake ya caboose, get juice, get goose, let loose and just shake ya caboose. Shake ya caboose, shake ya caboose, get juice, get goose, let loose and just shake ya caboose. Shake ya caboose, shake ya caboose, get juice, get goose, let loose and just shake ya caboose.
I'd rather take a train than a bus or a plane. Those who think I'm lame, I proclaim you're insane. Smooth and slick, with a steady stream of steam. Slow and quick, with a gleam of stream of steam. A train makes for a rather comfortable ride. Picturesque, that's the best, and fewer plants will die. In the caboose is where I tend not to ride. I prefer to sit outside and just watch it go by. So next time you find yourself in a train, just mosey on down to that little red caboose at the end and start a new trend of
shake ya caboose, shake ya caboose, get juice, get goose, let loose and just shake ya caboose. Shake ya caboose, shake ya caboose, get juice, get goose, let loose and just shake ya caboose. Shake ya caboose, shake ya caboose, get juice, get goose, let loose and just shake ya caboose. Shake ya caboose, shake ya caboose, get juice, get goose, let loose and just shake ya caboose.
When it's time to rock a funky jam.
What you want, shout it, got what you need.
When it's time to rock a funky joint.
You got what I need.
When it's time to rock a funky jam.
What you want, shout it, got what you need.
When it's time to rock a funky joint.
You got what I need.
Well, that was Pimp T from his album An Herbal Remedy, Shake Ya Caboose, and I'm afraid that is all the time that we have left for you today.